Welcome to yet another lesson in our Integrated Science Intervention Program for SHS. Today in Integrated Science, we'll be looking at management practices in animal production. My name is Rhoda Ajuabone, and I will be your facilitator. In a class, for your books or stationery not to get missing or stolen, what do you normally do to them? Good. You'll be thinking, I'll write my name, or maybe I'll use a permanent marker to indicate that this book belongs to me. Fine. In animal production, we also do likewise, so that we'll be able to identify our animals. This brings our lesson, our topic for today, identification of farm animals. What is our target? We are learning to discuss identification of farm animals. We will give the types of identification and then explain the types. We will also look at reasons for identification. Let's see how the lesson will flow. We will first of all discuss meaning of identification, then we'll look at the types before we come to the reasons. These are the keywords that we'll be meeting: branding, notching, tattooing, and tagging. Now, what is identification? It is the management practice in which letters or numbers are used to mark farm animals for tracking and record purpose. So you want to know where and then the number of animals, we use marking of them, or we use something to mark the animal to indicate that this particular animal is for me, to also show that I have this so and so number of animals in my pen. Types of identification. There are two basic types of identification. We have permanent identification, and under the permanent identification, we have branding. We also have tattooing, and then ear notches. Now the second type is non-permanent, and that one we have the ear tagging. So like I said, we are coming to take them one after the other. Branding. It is the act of providing ownership or origin of an animal and may be performed by a hot iron, freezing, acid, or any other method that will result in a permanent mark on the animal. Like you can see on the screen, we have a cow, and then they've written LC. So that is Mr. A's initials, to show that any animal that you see LC on it is for Mr. A. And also the mark on it is permanent. It will not move, or it cannot be rubbed. And we are also seeing WAD, indicating another person's animal. We also have DMM with a number 27. So the number will tell you that Mr. DMM has 27 animals in that particular pen. Then we have another number 19 KMJ. So these are numbers, permanent numbers that they've written, and letters that they've written or they've branded on these animals to indicate the owners, so that somebody will not say that this one is mine, another person will say that they will be fighting on a particular animal. Notching. It involves the use of a device called ear notches to create holes on the ear of farm animals in a particular pattern. So you can see the pic on the screen with some special markings around the ears, indicating maybe this is the pen that it is coming from, the mother is this so and so number, and the rest. So all those designs have meanings: the mother, the pen, the number that this particular one has reached. It shows what's been done. And other devices that could be used for notching include a sharp pair of scissors, pincers, or a pocket knife. We can use those ones also to do the various cuttings. Notching is best done when newborn. So within 1 to 3 days that the animal is born, you can notch, and or at least less than a week. When the animal is young and you do it, it heals fast. So it's advisable that you do it around that time. Tattooing, it is done with a special instrument that places numbers or letters in and under the skin of the ear and colored with indelible ink, like you are seeing on the screen. Inside the ears, you could see that they've written Telina, and then on the pig there are some designs on it. Now, for you to see the writings, you need to clean the inside, and then you could see it clearly, like we are seeing on the screen. So, like I said, mostly tattooing is done inside the ears, and you need to turn it and clean it before you see it. Tagging, it is putting a tag in animals' ear, like you could see on the screen. So they're using the ear tag to tag inside, and this is done using a tool like the tagging plier, also on the screen. Now there's an interesting video on how tagging is done. Please, let's watch it.
As you can see there, so I'm gonna hand over the tagger and the tags to Godfrey to take care of business here. So normally, what time do we tag? Normally we tag when he's about 2-3 years old, just because of we just want to make sure he's healthy, he's able to walk, he's eating or drinking the milk before we start to tag. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but we normally do it after 3 weeks, so it depends on you. So as you can see how he's fixed it, so we are tagging him number 12, and when you're tagging, you just don't tag anywhere in the ear. So if you look at this ear, you could see there is a vein here, there is a vein here. You want to be able to tag in between the vein, right? Either here or there. If you tag on the vein, it's going to become sore, and what is going to happen is going to just rip through. So you tag either in between the veins just to give you like a proper tag. So as you can see, Godfrey has already set up his tagging, and all what he needs to do is to put it inside and look at the right spot. So this is calf number 12 for this year, right? So he's looking carefully, and that's it. So that is done. He has his tag number 12, right? It's okay, it's okay. Alright, so as you can see, we have 46 already tagged, and then we have 12 already tagged as well. So basically, this is how we do our tagging. So as you can see, he's nicely tagged.
Welcome back. So you saw how tagging is done, and you see sometimes after you've done it, because it will be paining the animal, you saw how it was playing with it in order to reduce the pain a little for the animal. It also shows that you care. Now let's look at reasons for identification. Why do we mark our animals? To enhance record keeping of animals. You see, as a farmer, you need to know the number of animals that you have. At a go, when somebody asks you, you should tell the person that I have this so and so animals. It is not at that time that you'll be counting them one after the other. Also, it makes treatment or killing of sick or unproductive animals easy. When the animal is sick, you should be able to remove it away from the rest. So when you have the markings, you know that A or M and D is not well. You take that sick animal from the pen. And also, when the animal is not productive, we have some that will not allow for crossing. When they give birth, they will sleep on their young ones and the rest. Those animals are not productive. After all, why are you keeping the animals? Either for food or for money. So that if the animal should give birth and then it sleeps on it, then you are not going to get anything. So by marking them, you are able to remove unproductive ones from the pen and then keep the ones that will let you get what you want. Also, identification helps facilitate other management practices like dipping and deworming. It is useful in administering drugs. So you know you've done LT, you are on MN, or 27, you go to 28. So in giving them drugs, you are able to follow. Also, it enables monitoring of animals' performance, and it is useful in breeding. You remember in our lesson on breeding, we said it is careful selection of desirable animals. So if you have marked them, you are able to select the good ones, and then you allow them to cross. Also, if the animal becomes sick after the sales or the carcass is contaminated, they can track it back to the source. Because you have indicated your animals, you have marked them. When maybe somebody buys the animal and then at a point in time he gets to know that the animal is sick, they can trace it back, know that, oh, this particular animal is coming from this pen. Then let's see if those animals in that pen are also suffering from the same disease. By so doing, you are able to treat them before maybe the disease will spread. Let's assess ourselves. But I just want you to write this, and then maybe in the house you can try your hand on it. Now, write this. Two herdsmen were fighting the ownership of their cattle. Suggest any two ways that could be used to identify their herd. Then the second one, why will you identify the sheep in your school farm? All too soon, we have come to the end of our lesson. What have we learned? We've come to realize that identification is the act of using letters and or numbers to mark farm animals. We also look at the methods of identification, and we said they include branding, tattooing, notching, and tagging. We also saw the importance of identification, and we said it helps in record keeping and for tracking. And it makes it possible for other management processes like dipping and deworming to be done. It is useful in administering drugs. In our next lesson, we will be looking at preparing poultry meat for the market. Thank you.